Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey together at striving to be the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. And today, we're elaborating a little bit on our lows. I mentioned a quote last week that I had heard, and it was something like this. I don't have it jotted down, but our lows sometimes lead us to our highs. And yet we spend so much time trying to avoid our lows, trying to avoid those slumps, those ruts, those pitfalls, when in actuality, they just set us up to have the highest of all highs, our successes, our wins, our victories. So you see, my friends, it's not about avoiding the lows. It's about embracing the lows, recognizing the fact that if we're pushing ourselves, they are going to be there. And if they're not, we're not pushing ourselves enough. I wanted to start out this episode with a poem. I'm not a poetry guy. I'm an inspiration guy. I'll lean towards motivation, things that are positive. And so I stumbled upon this poem. And I want to read the whole thing to you. It's by a poet. I don't know much about him. His name is John Greenleaf Whittier. And apparently he was an American poet in the 1800s. Lived actually the vast majority of the 1800s. It was like early 1800s to late, believe it or not. And lived to an older age. So I don't know the name of it, okay? But here we go. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up through the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems, a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. My friends, you can see how that poem from literally, how many of this? Gosh, over 100 years ago. Okay? Maybe even closer to 200 years ago. Those are words to live by, still to this day. And I really felt that sharing that with all of you really sets the stage about our highs and lows, and compartmentalizing them and embracing our lows, right? So here we go. Let's set the stage before we can get into some things that we can walk away from. So a few bullet points actually. Enjoy the highs, but expect the lows. If you see them coming, then they're not going to come as a surprise, catch you off guard. You're going to be learning to embrace them. So to learn to embrace them is to expect them, see them coming, and welcome them. When we feel down at some point, and we will, okay, how can we find our way out of that dark place if we don't have the energy to find our way out? So the whole idea is to recognize this as soon as possible, because the deeper we get into that dark place, the tougher it is to pull ourselves out. And listen, I think that what I just said, I know speaks to all of us. At some point, we were probably in a dark place, but the whole idea is to minimize the time spent. Society might say that we're not supposed to feel low. But you see, my friends, I don't believe that's the case. Okay? Our struggles are worth it, aren't they? And if we're embracing our lows to ultimately achieve success, then we need to feel that. Lows are necessary. It's okay to feel down sometimes, but let's minimize that, the time spent, right? We'll talk about a few things that we can do. Everybody, you're not a terrible person if you're feeling some lows or some lack of success. Just don't continue, again, like we said, to get sucked deeper into this dark place. It's tougher to get out of this place the deeper you go. We mentioned that. Please understand that there are people that may need the help of a medical professional, okay? And others that can pull through on their own. As always, I say this. When it crests over into that medical field, I am not a professional. Certainly not able to diagnose people with some certain illnesses or struggles that might require professional help. So just understand that, my friends, okay? Sometimes the deeper we go, we're going to need the help of some professionals to get us to a better place. My friends, it's about learning to love our lows and thank ourselves for those experiences each and every single day. It's about seeing how they can help us. And just remind yourself that you are right where you are supposed to be. Like the poem said, we might be closer to our highs than we might think. Okay? Our goals are achievable and they're right there. So we have to keep digging and grinding it out and not giving up and not quitting. So, what can we do? I've got 4 takeaways, 4 bullet points. Okay, and as always, not limited to these, but 4 good takeaways. The first one was inspired by actually a classmate of mine, and she posted something on Facebook that, I really gravitated towards. And you know what she said? She said, society tells us not to daydream, right? But she challenged all of us, and I'm going to share it with you, is to actually focus on the daydream, not the nightmare. Okay? A lot of times we focus on the nightmare. We focus on the lows and we dwell on it too much, and that's how we get sucked deeper into this hole. But we don't focus on the daydream. So what I'm actually going to pass along to you is that's a great practice to apply to our conversation today. Focus on the daydream. Focus on your path. What is it that you want? Visualize it. What are your goals? Do we know? If not, how do you expect to go somewhere if you don't know where it is you want to go? So daydream a little bit and then write it down. Look at it often and expect the hurdles, everybody. But don't focus on the nightmare. Focus on the daydream. Number 2, express gratitude for every experience. It's about embracing our lows. We've mentioned that already. This is tough to wrap our head around, but it can be done. The more grateful and the more gratitude we express for our lows that we experience, the sooner we can learn from them, continue on, and grow and achieve that success that we want and that might be right around the corner. Being grateful will keep us afloat, metaphorically, and prevent us from sinking deeper. Remind yourself of your dreams, your goals, and your game plan. Number 3, analyze and assess. So every night, reflect on your day that was. It's about to sunset for the day, right? And you learned a lot today, at least if you're pushing yourself. So what were your highs? And most importantly, what were your lows? Focus on both of them. How can you expect where it is that you're trying to go if you don't analyze where you've been? What can you learn from the day that was? And again, express appreciation. Sometimes we have to pivot. Sometimes our plan, we have to tweak things a little bit. And every night, part of our daily routine, as I mentioned early on in my podcast quest, okay, it is important to reflect on that day. And sometimes we do have to change our game plan. That's us learning from the situations that we have experienced. And lastly for today is to find balance. Our journey has feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, weakness, pain, hurt, and setbacks. But it's about us desiring faith, love, care. It'll fuel us through those tough times. Listen, my friends, nobody said that this is easy or that it was going to be easy. There's no time for sugarcoating life, right? And our experiences. We reach our destiny because we see it. Then we believe that we can achieve it. We desire it. And we burn with passion to get what it is that we want. We keep going, even when the odds are against us. And it appears that no one believes in us except for ourselves. It's about visualizing our wins, that we further ourselves to achieve them. Your dreams are now within your reach. They're closer than you may think. But understand that by embracing all of your ups and your downs, you learn to craft a mindset that achieves balance. This is what we need to live the best life possible, everybody. Listen, today, this week's episode really struck with me. It was really inspired by a conversation that I had with my very good friend from actually a couple episodes ago. And I mentioned to you that we speak often. And, our conversation really did inspire me for this episode. Everybody, listen. Go out there today. Go out there this week. Embrace your lows. Recognize your lows. See them happening. Experience them. Get the full experience, right? But don't stay down. Learn from them. Get back up and continue to trek forward. It's what life is about. My friends, I appreciate you. I appreciate this podcast. Thank you for joining me every week. And listen, I wish nothing but the best for you, the best day possible, the best week possible. And we will 100% see you back here, same time, same place. As always, much appreciation shared with everybody, with all of you, and we'll see you next time.